Okay, so we'll be seeing a bit on the briefing. Okay, like what are the things that you have to be very careful about this project one, that there are certain deadlines that you shouldn't miss, and then what are the things that you have to do step by step so that it's easy for you to go on a smooth project one, that we call, like in short, we call it as FIP1. Okay, finally a project one, even though the name has been changed to scientific project. Okay, so we must have a theme, a goal, a purpose in our lives. If you don't know where you are aiming, you don't have a goal. So for your, this one is very important for you with respect to your final year project, because you need to see your aim. What's your aim in your final year project, isn't it? You need to always look forward to seeing that hardbound copy at the end with your fruitful what you call the results, and also the discussions, that should be always in your mind. Okay, so need to finish on time, so that also keep it as a goal. Okay, so a little bit about the table for scientific project one. Okay, so this one is kept as very important component for your first degree program, because a clear understanding of the concept of the research is very important for you to get in familiar with the actual research environment. Like when you do your FIP, you will just get an overview of how the research environment will look like in the future. If you're interested, you can do. Okay, so here we have three CLOs. Okay, so you can see here a CLO1, demonstrate proficiency in surveying and reviewing scientific literature. CLO2 is to present a research proposal, and 3 is to relate the scientific information effectively and clearly. Don't worry about the slides. Okay, I'll upload this in ITIL once I finish the briefing today, together with the FIP calendar. So if you miss out any information, you don't have to worry, you can get it there. Just, but please pay attention. Okay, all right, so course content outline is mostly we have briefing, literature review, proposal writing and presentation, development of the research method and research activity. Now, what are the assessment for this? The most important assessments are mainly three. So the first one is your proposal presentation. Because you're in final year project one. Okay, so in project one, we expect you to come out with a clear scientific proposal, and that proposal you need to present to us, means the lecturers, your examiners, through the form of a this one, the proposal. Okay, so there is a poster, so you have to come up with a poster, and through it should be clear that how you are going to contact this research. Then the second one is sorry, this won't be your presentation. This would be your supervisor assessment. Okay, so the second one is your supervisor assessment. That will be 20%. And then at the end, you will have to come up with an final year project report, that is called FIP1 report, which will give you 60%. Okay, so here is the correct one. You can see that project proposal presentation in the form of a poster, 20%. Supervisor, your own supervisor will give the mark 20%. So make sure you have a good, good terms with your supervisor. So meet him or her regularly, discuss with him or her. So don't wait for the supervisor to call you. You have to take the initiative and go and look forward for to meeting your supervisor. Okay, then your scientific report is 60%, so overall is 100%. Okay, so now we are going to see for these few minutes with me, you will have a briefing, few topics here and there. Now, the first important one is the project one calendar. Okay, so each time, like each semester, your FIP coordinator will come up with a project one calendar, which you can also call it as a takvim. So you have to strictly follow these dates and don't miss it out. If you're not clear in any part of it, you can always get back to your FIP coordinator and you can ask him or her. Okay, so in for this semester, I'll be your FIP coordinator, so you can always ask me if you're not clear anything about this. Okay, so the first one is the first one is the student acquires a FIP research title from supervisor. You have already passed, all of you. So this one was towards the end of the last semester. So the dates are already gone. Okay. So the action to be done is by the student. Now, once you get your research title confirmed from your supervisor, you have to pass that to me. Okay, so you know that there is a FIP registration form, so I expect that all the students have emailed me or submitted in the hard copy, either one. Okay, I don't want it to, I prefer email, so it's easy for me to compile all the records. So second one is the endorsement of the student list by the supervisor. The supervisor will come up, okay, these are the students under my supervision. Like say, for example, Prof. Lee. So Prof. Lee will tell, okay, maybe she have 3 titles. Yes, these are the 3 titles, and these are the students going to be under me. Okay. Now, after that, you will have to get an FIP registration form. Okay. You have to fill all the details of your title and so and so. And then you have to get it signed by the supervisor, and then you pass it to me for confirmation of that title and also confirmation of your supervisor. This one, those for those who haven't done, the due date is still there. It's on 5th April. That's the last due date. We still have few more days to go. Okay, so please, those who haven't done, do it as soon as possible and email me with your supervisor's signature. Okay, because if your supervisor didn't sign on that, I won't consider it as a confirmed registration form. So this is supposed to be done in week 3. Now, once I have all these details, what me being the coordinator will do is I will compile all this FIP research title. Okay, who are the students details and also who are the supervisor, and then I will have my own Excel for my record. Okay, so once that's done, then we pass to the next one is student supervisor FIP proposal discussion and submission. So this one is because we being the coordinator, we just put the approximate date only, but it depends on the supervisor as well, like when they want to start, when they want to do the discussion. And some of the supervisors, because they know that the lab work is going to be very extensive, they want the students to start the lab work first. But some supervisors, they want the students to come out with the proposal. So it depends on the supervisors and also the students, because every one is different. Their approach to research is also different in its unique way. Okay, then you have to start getting the data for your final year project. So this one is also approximately, and just I put it on, it should start on 25th March, which is week 2. But at the end, it depends on your supervisor as well. Okay. All right. So we're coming to the most significant part of your project one calendar. First one is the submission of the project one report. So I will later inform you what are the things that you need to include in this project one report. But overall, it's like introduction, literature review, and materials and methods. And if you have any results, but only the preliminary results. Okay. So the deadline is 13 June will be, which will be your week 12. Okay, so right now you guys are in week 3, right? Am I right? Yes or no? Week 3, correct? No response. Week 2 or week 3? Okay, week 3. All right. So, yeah. Okay, so this is very important that by week 12, okay, you need to keep your project one report ready. Ready means it should be ready for submission. So later, I will explain as well how you're going to submit and so and so. Okay, that's by week 12. So please take down of this date. Now, after that is done, then we go for week 14. You will have your proposal poster presentation. Normally is 1 day because you all will come up with a poster, isn't it? And then if you have seen your seniors doing it, normally what we do is we use the FSSA foyer down, and then we set up now all the posters. So each poster will be given a number, and then your details and everything is there, so your examiners can come and listen to your presentation, and also they will give you the marks. So the date is right now what we have put is 26th or 27th, but mostly it will be on the week 14, but the date can change. Okay, so I will inform you when we are very close to that time, like maybe around week 10 or something like that. I can confirm with you when we are going to do this. Now, once these are done, what I do is like all your project one report, which is already submitted. Okay, now we are following the practice of hard copy. So all the hard copies, I will double check if it's all the correct amount. Some later I'll explain to you. I'll check the number and everything, and then I will distribute it to the respective examiners and also the supervisors. So once that's done, then we have the project one report assessment by the examiner, and then finally they have to submit. That means the examiners have to submit the marks to me by due is on the 1st August, but before that is also okay. Now, meanwhile, I want every one of you, when I explain, to write down your doubts. Okay, any part of it which you're not clear, or which you feel that you need more explanation, or which you have a lot of a lot of things going on in your mind, please note it down. And at the end we will have the Q&A, so you can you can type your questions in the chat, or also you can on your mic and talk. Okay. Now, what is this scientific project one or your final year project? Okay, so this one is a short research project for the final year student. Our purpose is to have hands-on experience for the students with respect to experimental design, some doing in wet lab, and also scientific writing. So this final year project is divided into two parts. Right now you are here, okay, SY34203, which is your project scientific one, and your next semester, once you pass this one, okay, you will go into SY40106, which is your FIP2 or project 2. Okay, so these are the things that you'll be doing prior to the semester. This semester, you have to choose your supervisor, research proposal discussion with the supervisor, and then submit your proposal to the supervisor. So I expect that you guys have done this part, and then you move to the next one, which is a project one. So in project one, you have to start your lab work and get the data, design your experiments, because like I think not all are doing wet lab, isn't it? Okay, so say for example, for those who are doing bioinformatics is also considered a research, but there is no lab work. So you have to come up with your design, what are the softwares that you're going to use, how you're going to do modeling and so and so. So then you have your proposal poster presentation and you submit your project one. So once you pass this one, we go to the next one, which is project two. So project two is, I'll give you an overview, but however, you will get a detailed, finally a project two briefing, inshallah, in your next semester. Okay. So here what you do is that mostly you'll be doing your chapter 4, which is your results. So you will be in lab a lot here, okay, but some students who manage to finish your project to work here, then there will be less here. So it depends. Time management is very critical for your final year project successful completion on time. Okay, if you want that, you have to manage your time starting from now for your final year project. Okay, so this one is will have a viva voce. So this will be a physical one. Then you will present in front of the lecturers and also your examiners, and then they will ask you the questions, and then they will give you their comments and so and so. And then you have your dissertation or your finally a project report. At the end, you have to submit for evaluation. Okay, and at the end, yes, this is the final. So, what I told you at the beginning of today's lecture is that you all have to look forward to having this in your hand. Okay. And having this in your hand doesn't mean that you can extend on time. Okay. So, that's what I meant. That's a successful completion of finally a project depends on whatever you have done, you have gone through it, but with respect to the timeline. So, never go beyond the timeline. So project activities, what are these normally is that you get your project title, discuss with your supervisor, then you start getting your data or your lab work, then you have your proposal poster presentation. You can see our dean here. Okay, so here this is something like this. You can see your seniors, think much seniors. Okay, so here you can see the posters, isn't it? All these posters set up here. So when the supervisor or the examiner come, the student will present. Okay, so this is the student. Okay, she's presenting here. You can see her posters here. So once that's done, and then you before that you have to submit your project one report. So it will be like this. Okay, spiral bound, no hard copy. Yeah? So I mean no hardcover. The it will be in this way. Okay, it should look like a spiral bound, and then you have to submit into a Pejabat. So these are the chapters in this final year project. So we have like around 6 chapters. Chapter 1 introduction, chapter 2 literature review, 3 is materials and methods, 4 are results, and 5 discussion, and chapter 6 is conclusion, and then you have your references. Now, for your project 1 report, which is your FIP 1 report, mostly you should have these main chapters. Okay, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 together with the references and the related forms. Now continuation of this into 4, 5, and 6 plus references will go for your project 2 report. So your project 2 report will be more thicker than your project 1 report. Okay, so some supervisors, they prefer the students to write this as together results and discussion, but at the end this also depends on your supervisor, so you have to discuss with them and follow what is their preference. Okay, so far so good. Okay, all right. Okay, now, this is already done. Okay, finding your FIP supervisor. Then this one, FIP registration form. So this FIP registration form, I want every one of you to send me an email, even though if you have submitted to me through hard copy, but if you have a PDF, then you can just send it to me. If you don't have, no problem. Okay, so either one, okay, printed or PDF, and you have to submit, and the deadline is I'm giving you until 5th of April 2024. So this is how your final year project registration will look like. And then you have to sign here, okay, signature of the student, name, date, and fill all these details and your proposed project title, and get your supervisor's signature, name and date, and her CHOP if you can, official CHOP. Okay, so finding a topic in supervisor, there are certain research areas, but I think these are not updated. We have more now. This time, for this batch, all the supervisors are in our faculty only. Okay, so we haven't open for like IPB or Institute Marine or Institute Tropica. No, we haven't opened. Okay, so only for FSSA. Now, before you enter the lab, okay, I want every one of you to get this form, Borang Makmal, and then fill all the details and then get it signed by your supervisor and pass it to the lab assistant in charge. Now, I want also every one of you to be very nice to the lab assistants, okay? They do play a big role in management of this program, even though we don't see it. Like you guys only see the mostly the academic ones, the lecturers, the coordinators, isn't it? Because like we come and talk to you face to face almost every day, you see what either one of our face. But the thing is maintaining the lab, okay, where you're going in to do your lab work. Now inshallah you'll be doing your final year project, and all those things are well taken care by our lab assistants. So be nice to them, respect them, talk to them very politely, and then please follow the instructions. Like if you want to use a new machine that you're not sure about how its operation is, don't simply go and use it. You ask the lab assistants, and if they are able to guide you, it's good. Or else you can ask the seniors like master students or PhD students in the lab or postdoc students to help you as how to use this instrument. Okay, and if possible keep a logbook so you know that what time you go into the lab and what are the things that you did. These days you don't have to literally buy everything, you can get in the internet, isn't it? So many applications are there, so you can just download whichever is convenient for you, and then you can just keep a track of your time that you're going into the lab. Now, next form that you have to be very important, we have to be very careful about, pay attention, is the supervisory session attendance form. So this one, all these forms I will upload in the ITEL, so you can download it from there, okay? So here is that you have to fill your details and your supervisor details and what are the things that you are doing. So fill all, don't only fill until 4 or 5, even though you haven't done, you just fill, make sure you have some kind of discussion with your supervisor about it. So after you have done everything, keep this form with you. Actually, the original practice is that each one you do each topic, like say for example, the first time you meet up with your supervisor, maybe you had your proposal discussion, so this will be your proposal discussion, and then you get your supervisor signature and then the date, isn't it? So we know, so it follows, it's supposed to follow like that. But what happens is the students tend to lose this, okay, once you do the copy. So what now most of the supervisors they prefer is that you fill everything and you to yourself, so at the end, before submission, you come and see your supervisor. So we just sign for you all. And then here also we just sign with our official stamp. Okay. Yeah, this is the Borang Permohonan Penggunaan Makmal, that what you need to fill. These are your details, okay, and which lab you will be using. So normally you'll be placed in the lab where your supervisor is normally doing his or her work. So you need to ask your supervisor if you're not so sure. So you have to put the nama makmal and also lokasi makmal, and then all these things like approximately what time to what time you will be in the lab. And this is also very important so that the lab assistants know that these are the things that you need. Okay, now being just starting of the research, I know that it's very hard for you to exactly figure out, okay, that what are the chemia and all, what are the instruments that you need now, but you can approximately come up, like say for example sodium chloride, but you don't know how much you need, just put like approximately 50 grams. But if you see that you're using it for a lot of reactions, put 100 grams, so and so. Like agar agar you want, like put 20 grams or maybe 30 grams, maybe spectrophotometer you need, okay, so all those things, so please make sure you fill here. Now, after that, you have to get it signed, and then you can have to get it sokongan penilia from your supervisor, and then you have to also get it penilaras makmal and also pagawai signs, and then you pass it to the lab assistant. Okay. Now, This is the application of also consumables that you have to you need, like say for example how many petri plates you need, the pipette tips, and so and so. So number two is not for you guys because there is no one this time working in the institute. So supervisory session, if you remember this one form, okay, this one you need to meet your supervisor minimum 10 times in a semester to get that full marks. Do you remember the marks here? As I told in the beginning, we have here, okay, you can see the supervisor assessment is 20%. So if you want your supervisor to give full marks, so make sure you meet him or her minimum 10 times per semester. So supervisees should bring along, yeah, the supervisory session attendance form. You can also discuss with your supervisor that if you want it to be on a regular basis or only towards the end. Now, for those who are planning to write your FIP report, okay, in English, you have to have a MOET band of minimum 3 and above. So this is the criteria set by our program. So each program is different. Okay. So for biotechnology, if you want to write it, it should be MOET band 3 and above. So you have to, for those who have this one, you have to fill, there is a form, Borang Penulisan Thesis dalam Bahasa Inggris. So you fill all your details over here. You have to put your keputusan SPM and also keputusan MOET. And then you also have to attach SPM and also MOET, okay, a copy with this one. And then your title, why you want to write, and then you have to get it recommendation from your supervisor, and then you pass it to the Pajabat, okay, the person in charge for the dean to what you call it as Lulus, isn't it? So once the dean signed this one, then this is considered as a completed form. So the original you have to keep it with you, and you have to take a copy of this one and attach together with FIP1 and also FIP2. So we know that you have already officially declared, safe to write your report in English. Okay, so for those who are writing a report in English, yeah, this one. Okay, this one done. Next we have is the Borang Turnitin thesis. So this one is like only for those who are writing your report in English. We need to run your report using Turnitin software, and the report percentage similarity should be less than 35%. This is set again by our program for the final year project. So once you have done that, then you have your they generate, the Turnitin software will generate a report. So you have to attach that report to see that the plagiarism is less than 35%. And then you have to get your this sign from the Penelia, and then also the same procedure, you have to pass it to the dean's office. So this one I want you to do for your project 1 and also project 2. Now, do not use any untrusted plagiarism checkers. Always request your supervisor to do this for you. Okay. I know that Shopee and Lazada, they have very cheap all these Turnitin checkers. But what happened is previously there were few cases of our students, they didn't ask the supervisor to check because you being the students don't have direct access to this Turnitin software. So if your supervisor is setting a class for you, then you can just check your FIP report here. But sometimes some supervisors will ask you to send it to them, your PDF, and then they will upload it in the software, and then it will generate the similarity index. Okay, so there were cases of the students that they didn't want to ask the supervisors. So what they did is for their final year project 1, they used the Shopee one, and then she got the similarity index to be less than 35%. But what happened with her report is that, okay, She comes to the final year project 2. When she checked is that the similarity index turned out to be 70 or something like that. So what happened is, like, because you guys use the untrusted source, they will deposit all those in their repository. So when you check for your final year project 2, that will come up as again similarity index, which is going to be very high. So do not do all those things. Okay, always go through your supervisor for this one when you want to check your Turnitin cases. Now, there will be a lot of forms that you need the sign from Dean. Okay, please, all those forms, you make sure that it's completed, signed by your supervisor, and pass it to the person in charge in Pajabat You have to go to the Pajabat and you ask them, show this form, and ask them, I need the Dean sign. Who's the one? Do not go and directly approach the Dean, because you guys know the Dean, isn't it, Prof. Jualang? Please don't do that. Okay. Now, managing your FIP, 6 things not to do. You do not plagiarize other students' FIP results in your report. So we can detect it using the Turnitin. Now, those who are found guilty will be given F for FIP. So meaning that you will have to repeat it again in your next semester. So please do not do this. So do not be late for any appointment with your supervisor. Okay. So these days you're very lucky. Most of the supervisors reply to your WhatsApp. So even when you send the WhatsApp to your supervisors, I always emphasis on this. Please respect their time. Everyone has their family and they have other things to do. So if you want to message, please message during the office hours, and do not cut chow, yeah, do not disturb them a lot during the Saturday, Sunday, until and unless during anything that they ask you to do, then you can do. Okay, so make sure you know your supervisor well. And then do not run away or hide when you encounter problems with your FIP. When you do something in FIP, it's not that you will get success all of a sudden, or what you're looking for, your results or your readings come out very well. No, because you're improving your hands-on experience. Okay. So when you do, of course, you encounter a lot of problems. So do not run away or just hide because you didn't get any results. So when the supervisor come to the lab, yeah, you'll be hiding there or here, so supervisor cannot find you, and then you are very happy. But you're happy for a while. At the end, you're going to be unhappy because you cannot finish your final year project. Okay. So do not be self-satisfied, okay, or complacent, or wait for the supervisor to prompt you on your weekly meetings or any updates on your FIP work. And do not be disappointed with the feedback given at each assessment, as these are meant to help you to improve. So no one is perfect. You guys are just learning your research, okay? So we know that you're just learning and you're not a PhD student, isn't it? So don't worry when the examiners or the supervisors are giving you a lot of feedback. Don't feel bad that you have done something wrong. Just take it as a positive comments to improve your final year project. Those comments given at the end of your final year project 1 can help you to improve your final year project 2. Okay. Now, this is what I see with the new generation. Okay, the previous few years students, what they do is they just keep it to the last minute. Especially the writing, do not wait till the last minute to start writing your report. Writing your report is not that easy. Do not use AI. Okay, we can detect your AI using the Turnitin report. So when we run that, we know how much percentage of is already written by using the AI. So make sure that these are all your words, okay? And then when you're writing a thesis, or just to write one paragraph of your own words, it will take sometimes hours and hours, or sometimes days or weeks. Okay, sometimes you sit, you can write 2 to 3 pages. Sometimes when you sit, you cannot even write half a page. So meaning that it takes time. So you start writing it right now. Okay, so this week Then you have your Chutti Raya coming, right? Never mind. Finish your Raya first and then you start from the next week. Okay. So do not wait until the last minute. You won't be able to do. And always remember this final year project one, the report has 60% for the assessment mark, which is a lot. The other two combined is only 40%. Okay. So always pay attention to the report that you're going to submit. And other thing I have seen with respect to the students is that the format, they always go wrong with the format. There is a Panduan, Panulisan, Dissertasi, FSSA. Download that and you see what are the format. So exactly you follow that, because in the rubric, when we give you marks, we have one which is for the format. Okay. So this also will add to your marks. Now, it is important to follow, yes, the laboratory safety regulations. And when you wear the lab coats, please do not wear it as you're going for some modeling, okay? So make sure you button it up, because it gives you protection, isn't it? And then to make sure that you know the basic operation or procedures before you operate any equipment, I already told you guys that if you're not sure about that equipment or instrument, always ask the person, maybe the lab assistants, master, or research assistant, or any tutor available, how to use this instrument. Do not forget to respect your supervisors, graduate students in the lab assistants, and so on. And always establish a strong team spirit with your supervisor or the team that you're working, the lab assistant and your lab mates, because finally a project is to be on a success is not a one-man show. Okay. So it's that you need a combination of good support from your lab assistant and also your supervisor and also your lab mates. Now, if you need a highly successful final year project, there are 5 habits that you have to do. The first one is time management, plan early. Be consistent, again, time management, put in effort, exercise self discipline, and proper time management. Okay, so these are the 5 things that you can do for you to get a highly successful final year project. Now, be consistent is also very important. Like first week you go into the lab, then you think, it looks so easy. I wait for 4 5 weeks and then I enter. So when you come to your 4 5 weeks, then comes your midterm and assignment submission and so and so. Then you say, never mind, let me finish my midterm break and then I come. So then it's again time for your finals. So you won't get enough time. Now you won't find that any supervisor asking you to say, now go to the lab. No. Okay, you're free now, go to the lab. No, there'll be no one telling it, because this FIP is your own work. Okay, so we as being supervisors can only guide you and help you. Okay, so the remaining 90% should come from you. So you need to plan accordingly. Like I know that you have lectures and then you have your labs, afternoon sessions and labs. But now I think most of the labs are not started. So you need to plan properly. When are you going to do? As I said, take ownership of your FIP. Be reminded that this is your project, your degree, and your future. So you are in your degree, okay, almost finishing it. So now you guys are, we consider you guys as quite matured, okay, and responsible adults, I can say adults, and that you can take up the responsibility and ownership of a final year project. But if you encounter any problems or any hindrances during your journey, so do let us know. Do let the supervisor know, or do let the final year project coordinator know. Okay, so do not just keep, and then towards the last, when the submission time comes, they will say, Doctor, I couldn't finish it. Why? That's my mistake, because poor time management. So don't do that. Okay. So before FIP, the scariest moment is always just before you start. So I know that most of the final year project students always have a kind of phobia, I think, about this FIP. They are always worried about FIP. So it's just before you start. Once you start and you know the flow, now you're clear about the flow. Okay. Now you don't think too much about your final year project too. I want you to live in the present and just focus on your FIP1. So focus on every one of you, focus on getting A for your FIP1. If you're really good, consistent, hardworking, and you have submitted all the forms on time, and you have submitted your report on time, yes, you can definitely get an A. Okay, so focus on this. FIP1 Dulu, then you go to FIP2. So during FIP, never regret a day in your life. Good days give you happiness and bad days give you experience. So sometimes we run your agarose gel, you didn't get the bands. It's okay, at least you learn the technique, isn't it? So try the next day. You run, didn't get, you improved. So that's a positivity. So try the third day. Yes, you got it, isn't it? So it sometimes you get happiness, sometimes it gives you kind of sadness, but that sadness, you should know how to turn it into experience. And then if you feel that you're doing a kind of extraction method, and then you have tried one, two, three times, but still you didn't get, then you have to look back. What's the thing that you went wrong? Is it your concentration, the way you made the stock solution, or maybe the way you calculated your, chemicals? Maybe instead of microliter, you used, liter. So all those things, or your stock, I mean, the dilution from the stock, or if it is bacterial cultures, you should see, did I add all the nutrients? Okay, I got contamination. Why did I get the contamination? Did I sanitize it properly? So and so. So look back into the starting, what you have done, and then try and see where you went wrong. Okay. So if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you are right. So always think that you will be able to finish your FIP on time. Think positively, and not only thinking will help, you have to act. Okay. So that's the end of final year project one presentation. So before you have your next class, yeah, we have like around 15 minutes. So your class is online, right? Next class? Okay, so I open for Q&A. Please let me know any problems that you have. So can type in the chat. I'll share this one with you later in ITEL. Okay.